On Overdrive this week, the MG Windsor EV Pro is changing the game in India's budget EV market with a 449-kilometer driving range, and the VLF Tennis electric scooter combines Italian flair with Indian sensibility. But does it deliver on more than just looks? Hello and welcome to yet another exciting episode of Overdrive. I am Soini Dutt. The MG Windsor EV Pro is shaking up the Indian budget EV space with a bigger battery, 449 kilometers of driving range, and also a battery as a service twist. Now, it certainly seems like a smart option on paper, but is it pro-worthy? Let's find out.
MG's Windsor has quietly disrupted the affordable EV scene in India. No grand arrival, no fireworks, just a smart little coupe from inside out. Think Netflix sleeper hit with a modest trailer and a 100% Rotten Tomatoes score. With electric vehicles, you'll get a feeling that we are no longer buying cars, we are buying gadgets. We're subscribing to features, downloading apps, and comparing battery specs like we used to compare power and torque figures. That shift was quite evident with MG's three electric vehicles, the ZS, the Comet, the Windsor. But now with the Pro variant, the car leans even harder into the gadget territory. We're talking about a bigger battery, we're talking about more tech, and arguably a sharper suit as well. This is MG doubling down on their successful formula. With the Pro variant, MG isn't rewriting the story, it's just adding premium touches, a bigger battery, and a tech-forward polish. But is that enough to earn it the Pro badge? Let's find out. MG's so-called Aero Glide design remains largely unchanged, and frankly, that's not a bad thing. It's clean, smart, and confident without needing to wear fake muscles like some of its SUV-shaped competitors. And clearly, buyers aren't complaining. There are three new shades to choose from. There is a silver, a blue, and this red. All of them look sharp, but this red in particular, it has that premium Chinese EV meets European minimalism kind of vibes. I think they all look great. There are a few chrome touches, but no fake sense of sportiness. This is just a Windsor that's quite literally dressed for the occasion. The 15-inch touchscreen still dominates the cabin, equal parts presence and fingerprint magnet. It can be distracting at night, and relying on screen-based controls often pulls your eyes off the road, even when you get used to them. A new white upholstery is exclusive to the Pro and makes the cabin feel airier, while black interiors are exclusive to the standard Windsor. The dual-tone interiors, they feel premium, they look upmarket. In terms of space, absolutely amazing knee room, plenty of headroom. You also get this massive glass pane, which doesn't open, it's not a sunroof, but it does fill up the cabin with a lot of light, so it adds to that sense of airiness. And they're promising business class seating. So like the Windsor, you get 135 degrees of recline, which is not exactly limousine territory, but on long distance journeys, it's enough to keep the rear seat occupants comfortable, let them catch a snooze while you enjoy a nice and silent drive. Now to go nitpicking. MG could have polished the Pro badge further. Rear AC vents should have been larger. Rear climate control wouldn't hurt. And the missing rear wash and wipe and the absence of rear window blinds feel like oversights in an otherwise comfort-oriented package. And the contouring of the seats isn't great for long-distance journeys, which is a downer considering the Pro eggs you to go longer now. One feature that the Windsor Pro gets is powered tailgate. But of course, not something that you can flaunt that often because most of us are shopping from our phone these days, not at a grocery store. And no one's really going to notice this in the mall parking lot. But should you use this space for luggage instead, the Windsor Pro has you covered because with the bigger battery, it also promises a longer range. So should you go road tripping with it, the car will support the intentions.
Still to come on the show, the MG Windsor EV Pro gets a beefier battery and a longer range. Stay with us, you're watching Overdrive. Welcome back here with us on Overdrive. The MG Windsor EV Pro now comes with a bigger battery. It's up to 58.9 kilowatt hour from the previous 38 kilowatt hour and gives you 449 kilometers of driving range from the previous 332 kilometers of driving range. It now comes with well driver assistance and advanced safety features, and also level 2 ADAS.
The Windsor Pro gets a larger 52.9 kilowatt-hour prismatic battery pack, promising 449 kilometers per charge without sacrificing charging speed. The real-world numbers will of course be different unless you have mastered the art of driving like a nun. But getting between 320 to 350 kilometers shouldn't be that difficult. We did about 230 kilometers with about 40% battery still to go. So 350 kilometers on a full charge without hypermiling will certainly reduce range anxiety. It also makes it more road trip worthy and less dependent on India's still evolving charging network. MG is also doing its bit with its eHub aggregator app already crossing over 66,000 downloads, which means even non-MG users are already on board. MG's battery as a service model remains a masterstroke. Pay only Rs 12.5 lakh upfront for the car and rent the battery at Rs 4.5 per kilometer. It's a bit like buying a television at discount and then paying monthly rentals for the OTT apps. The battery as a service, that model has its own pros and cons, but it addresses one very important issue, and that is the upfront price anxiety that has stifled EV adoption in the past. And even for those who want to go all in, 17.49 lakh rupees with the discounted registration costs that you get in many states, including Maharashtra, it's not a very big ask in my opinion, especially for an EV that gives you this kind of range, this kind of space, and this kind of tech. With a bigger battery, what's also gone up is the weight, about 93 extra kilos. And you will probably only notice it on bad roads. Like a typical EV, you can feel the weight in the belly of the car. But between the Standard and the Pro, you will not really notice that 93 kg weight difference all that much. What does remain similar is the handling. It still has plenty of vertical movement when you are driving on winding roads like these. It's something that the car and the occupants doesn't like too much. Switchbacks, winding roads, not this car's forte. The brakes, never really a complaint on the Windsor, and that continues with the Pro as well. The brakes are quite nicely calibrated. The suspension has also been calibrated for the additional weight of the battery pack, but ride quality overall still remains the same. So it still has that slight firm edge. You still feel that weight in the belly, like I mentioned, when you're on some really undulated or pothole roads. But that limousine experience that it promises, that is more to do with the kind of space that it offers. It still doesn't give you that magic carpet kind of a ride. So don't have those kind of expectations. It is very much like a typical European car where you have a slightly firmer setup. Circling back to the brakes, they also feel a little bit over-assisted now, but it's not unnerving. And that's also coming from the fact that this has a radar. It detects that there is a slow-moving vehicle in front of you or that you are in a traffic jam, etc. So it just allows you to brake that much little extra, that much little earlier to just keep things safe. So, like I said, not too unnerving, but if it's contributing to better safety, I'm all for it. The Windsor Pro debuts ADAS Level 2 with 12 features. Lane assist, emergency braking, and traffic jam assist are among them. It's subtle, not intrusive, but we did notice a mild steering jitter not present in the standard version, so it's likely to be an ADAS quirk. There are some other inconsistencies too in the way the lane keep assist works, which is typical to a camera-only ADAS system. But MG insists that the Windsor Pro gets radar tech too, nestled in the front bumper. The Level 2 ADAS functionality also helps with stop-and-go traffic, like right now. My foot is off the accelerator, not on the brakes either, and the car is doing everything. It can come to a complete halt and then again start moving the moment the vehicle in front of me starts moving. So in bumper-to-bumper traffic, you can be absolutely at ease. Even if you are a little distracted, please don't be, but even if you are a little distracted, the car will basically do the acceleration and the deceleration for you. The steering is still your lookout. But out on the highway with well-marked lane markings, it does work really well, even with its lane keep assist and all the regular suite of Level 2 ADAS features that we are now used to. So this ADAS system uses a combination of radars and a camera. So even in the rainy situation that we drove on today, it pretty much worked fine. There were a few hairy moments here and there where the lane markings were not clear, or maybe there was sort of a double marking where the old marking was for a slightly smaller lane and then they widened the road, so the lane markings changed. So in places like those, it did get a little confused. Like we've said this in the past, India isn't the best country for ADAS, but yeah, it does work pretty well, at least for adaptive cruise control, the traffic jam assist, and the lane keep assist. While they've gone with a bigger battery, there is no change to the output of the electric motor. So you still get the same kind of power and torque, and it is pretty brisk. So whether you're driving on winding roads, whether you're on open highways, or just ambling around in the city, the powertrain is absolutely relaxed. It never feels that it's out of breath. You can pull quick overtakes. You can drive in a relaxed manner when you want to. And it's silent, of course, because it is an EV. And the power delivery, though EVs have that instantaneous power, it doesn't feel unnerving at all. So if this is going to be your first EV, if you're migrating from a petrol or a diesel, it's not going to feel unnerving. So whether you are a new driver, an experienced driver, it will keep you entertained. If you haven't noticed, we are in Guwahati. Guwahati means good momos, and they are being prepared right now in this electric cooker. This cooker is powered by the car. Kid you not, because the Windsor Pro now gets the vehicle to load functionality, which is V2L, which means that small electric gadgets like these, microwaves, small fridges, etc., they can be powered by the car. Not just that, there's V2V function as well, vehicle to vehicle, which means if your buddy with an electric scooter or even the MG Comet runs out of juice, you can go to their help and using an adapter, charge their vehicle a little bit at AC speeds so they can at least get enough juice to get to the next charging station. I think that's pretty cool. The Windsor EV Pro is an evolutionary step, a sharp, smart upgrade that strengthens MG's EV lineup. It won't wow thrill seekers or luxury hunters, but for practical, range-conscious, tech-loving urban buyers, it hits the sweet spot. And if you feel like playing the local hero, just make sure your vehicle's already juiced up. So when you go for that party and the power runs out, you can simply plug in the speakers and the electric cookware to your car and keep the party going. In my opinion, that is pro.
Well, it's time to head into our final commercial break here on the show, but don't go anywhere because on the other side, we'll tell you all about the VLF Tennis electric scooter.